Hey guys, I'm back with video number 4. The focus for today is going to be the Shah Rukh Khan owned franchise, Kolkata Knight Riders. Knight Riders have been a team that has been very strong in the IPL under the leadership of initially Saurav Ganguly and then Gautam Gambhir. Dinesh Karthik took over for some time, but gave up his captaincy last year, middle of the year, and it was given to Owen Morgan. Knight Riders have decided to stay with that format, and Owen Morgan is going to be the captain for this year's IPL as well. I think Owen Morgan is a great captain, and he's been performing top notch in international cricket and in the IPL as well for the last couple of years. That's a good choice. There will be questions about when will KKR start to give a bigger role to someone like a Shubman Gill. Is he in their leadership plan, and does he feature as a future captain for Kolkata Knight Riders? I would love to see that. I think Shubman Gill is supremely talented, and I think he has it in him, and he has the cricketing brain to be the captain. Is he ready for it yet at 21 years of age? I think that's no. I think they should give him the opportunity, maybe starting next year, depending on how the auction plan for the auction is. I think they should give him that captaincy, and then he can help and work with the management in building the team that he wants for KKR. Having said that, for this year's IPL, KKR have made some changes and some releases. Some of them were very expected, but there are others that were a little unexpected, I would say. KKR has released one biggest name in the cricket arena from last couple of years. Up and coming wicketkeeper batsman Tom Banton. Tom Banton was a player who showed his class in a lot of tournaments across the world. He is a swashbuckling opener, hits some big shots, and he can make quick runs. I think he'll be one player who will be given a lot of interest in the upcoming auction. I think there's a chance that someone like a Chennai or even a Rajasthan would like to go in and buy Tom Banton. Majority of the other bigger teams, their opening combinations are set. People like Kings 11 Punjab, Mumbai Indians, and then even Sunrisers. They are not really looking for an opener here. So I think Chennai is one team that is rebuilding. So if Tom Banton can come into their ranks, that could be a good opening combination. So stay tuned for what happens in the auction, but I'm thinking that there's a chance that they will go for Tom Banton. He's a good player, and I think given the chance and given a long run for the full IPL of 14 games, he can prove himself. That was a surprising pick according to me by KKR in terms of releasing. I think they could have used the services of Tom Banton. Next up, we have Chris Green, Australian all-rounder, off-spin bowler, hard-hitting batsman. He's someone who is very good, and he has proven himself in the Big Bash League. He has been a reliable option for his team in Big Bash, and I think he's played some in CPL as well. So he has the experience of playing in different countries as well. He will be a good option for RCB. I think RCB, after releasing so many all rounders, are looking for an all round option, and he or Maxwell could be one of the bets for RCB, depending on how the auction goes and how expensive Maxwell is in the auction itself. Keep an eye on Chris Green. I think RCB is going to bid high on him, and I think even Kings 11 may want to get his services. So we will see what happens, but my prediction is that Chris Green gets a lot of interest. Next up, we have Harry Gurney, English left arm pacer. He has been a little average in terms of performance for the last couple of years across the world in different tournaments. He is a good bowler, but he hasn't lived to the promise that he showed initially. Harry Gurney, I have a feeling, may go unsold this year. Uh, there are a lot of Indian fast bowlers who are up and coming, and the teams may want to give them a preference over someone like a Harry Gurney. Maybe someone will pick him up at a base price, but I don't see a lot of bidding going on for him this year, unfortunately. Good luck to you, Harry Gurney, but this year's IPL auction, I have some doubt about you getting picked up. So next up is Ali Khan. He is the pacer who is based out of the US, and he was the first United States player to have been picked for an IPL. He came from the Trinbago Knight Riders franchise. So basically, Kolkata Knight Riders saw his worth in the Caribbean Premier League, and they thought that he would be a good addition to the IPL team as well. He had a great opportunity last year to come in and share the dressing room with a lot of the premier international players and players from the Indian arena who are up and coming. I think he would have loved that opportunity to come back. We'll see what happens, but I doubt he's going to get any additional interest this year. Knight Riders is the only team, if any interest will be shown. So I mean, I don't think he'll go for anything above his base price, and Knight Riders may just bring him back as some variety in the base department. It all depends on what their needs and how the auction goes. But I have a feeling that very high chances Ali Khan may not come back. The next player that they have released is Siddesh Lad, the Mumbai boy. He, I think, has been really unlucky in terms of the teams that he's been. Majority of the teams that have picked him, he was with the Mumbai Indians for a long time, but Mumbai Indians have a very stable opening and number three position, so he didn't get too many chances to play for Mumbai Indians. I think he's just played one game, if I'm not wrong, in like his time at around 2 3 years. With Kolkata Knight Riders, again, he did not get opportunities to play. He's a really good player. He's played domestic cricket for a long time. He can perform at the highest level, but will he go into the right team? Will he find the team that wants his services at the opening slot? Seems a little hard to me because a lot of the teams have a stable opening combination, as I already mentioned. He could be picked up as a backup opener again, which will be unfortunate for him because he doesn't get to showcase his talent. But I do hope that he gets picked. He is a good player. He can perform well against pace and spin both. He's done well in domestic cricket a lot of years. I think he's a great prospect, but never got that opportunity to showcase his skill on the bigger scale. Next up, we have Nikhil Naik. He's the wicketkeeper batsman. He got a couple of games. He was the backup wicketkeeper for Kolkata Knight Riders to Dinesh Karthik. They saw him as like a hard hitting finisher, but he hasn't really delivered, and that's probably the reason why he has now been released. I think Kolkata Knight Riders is the only team that he's played for in his career, but I think this year it's curtains for him, and I don't see him getting picked again into any team. And the last player that Kolkata Knight Riders have released is M. Siddharth. He is someone who came into prominence from the TNPL, Tamil Nadu Premier League. He's a good prospect, and someone should pick him up. We've already seen someone like a Natarajan Jayaprakash who has performed exceptionally well coming around the ranks. So is M. Siddharth also someone who can replicate what T. Natarajan has done? That is yet to be seen, but will he get picked is the first question. I have a feeling that Chennai may go for it. That's it from me on Kolkata Knight Riders releases. Now let's talk about the team a little bit. I think they have a good core. Their two premier players who were giving them the best performances, Sunil Narain and Andrew Russell, they haven't performed up to expectations, I would think, in the last couple of years, and that's the reason why Kolkata hasn't done too well. But is the time now already to look ahead of those two players, or will they continue to have their faith on these two premier all rounders from West Indies? We'll see what happens, but I think in the mega auction, Kolkata Knight Riders needs to look beyond these two now. Andrew Russell, I think they will still keep, but Sunil Narayan, I think it's time for Kolkata Knight Riders to part ways with Sunil Narayan next year. This year, of course, they have retained him, so he will be a part of their major plans. But I don't see that huge a role for Sunil Narayan and Kolkata Knight Riders together. They should now look at other options. Sunil Narayan will surely be picked by some other teams, but his effectiveness has gone down a little, and I think it's time Kolkata Knight Riders part ways with him next year. Will that happen is something that we will know after this IPL. Maybe he just proves me wrong and has like a stellar IPL this year, and I hope it does. It does happen, and Kolkata Knight Riders can do well. But we'll see what happens. And the released players, I think two people who will be having a lot of interest is Tom Banton and Chris Green. Apart from that, I doubt anyone else is getting picked up in the auction. Thanks for listening. Hope you had a good understanding of what Kolkata Knight Riders tried to do. I'll come back next with my next team, Kings 11 Punjab. That's a team that had a lot of promise last year. I was expecting a lot from them, but the performances didn't go very well. They lost a couple of close games, and that bit them hard. They even had one umpiring howler against them as well. Will they still have it in them to perform again this year? I think the team is really strong, but can they come together and win games for Kings 11 is the question. More on Kings 11 to come in the next episode. Do like and subscribe to my channel. Share this video with your friends. Tell me know what your comments are and what you think about some of the Kolkata Knight Rider players who should KKR target in this auction. Let's keep the chat on the comments. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next one, which is Kings 11 Punjab. Thank you.